They needed clarity. They needed alignment. They needed purpose. But what will help protect independent practice and what will help protect optometry in general is clarity of mission, the strength of the team, the community connection. That's huge. And patient-centered care that no product can replace, but it can also augment. And that's where our future is. And so that's where the Gateway Tour, I'll call it 2.0, is heading in 2026. And it's where we're moving from a practice performance partner standpoint in 2026 and beyond, is to look into the future. We don't know exactly in the future what the next evolution will be, and that's okay. What we do know is that we're committed to redefining this message, deepening it, and creating more tools to help practices in that process do things like connect with their teams, strengthen their culture, build foundations that last, remove barriers so that you're not uncertain about, are you in compliance? Have you coded this appropriately? Have you documented this appropriately? Have you ordered too many fields? Have you, classified medical necessity? Have you actually built a protocol around managing a specific disease state so that they can live out their mission with clarity every single day? Because mission work isn't a one-time exercise, it's discipline. Hello and welcome to the Chris Wolfe Podcast on Icon Media. Today I want to dive into something that shaped a lot of my thinking over the last year. And honestly, something I didn't expect to become the centerpiece of what we were doing over the last year for the Vision Source Gateway Tour. When we started the Gateway Tour to introduce Vision Source members to practical application of artificial intelligence, the whole point was to show practices that they could use AI as a data aggregator and a data interpreter, something that could make them make sense of all the information they're swimming in every day. But really what's crisscrossed the country as we have gone from place to place to place, something surprising has happened. In my mind, surprising. What practices needed most was not the next tool or the next workflow or the next shiny piece of half-baked technology. They needed clarity. They needed alignment. They needed purpose. And that's what today's episode is all about. So please enjoy this monologue. As always, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, write a review, share it with your friends, and support those who support us. The most common questions I get include, what ophthalmological codes or evaluation and management codes should I use? What ICD-10 codes do I need to bill with this CPT code? What CPT codes can be billed together and what can't? And my favorite, how do I manage a patient who has diabetes who comes in for a quote-unquote routine eye exam? These questions really highlight the confusion and uncertainty that serves as a daunting hurdle for providers, makes it more challenging for them to care for their patients and provide those patients with the best opportunity for a lifetime of ocular health and clear vision. That's why we built iCode Education for this specific purpose. Our mission is to provide optometrists with resources to help you understand disease states, revenue cycles, and billing and coding so that you can put that on autopilot and truly care for your patients. Check out eyecodeeducation.com. That's EYECODE education.com. We've developed a premier billing and coding bundle that includes all of our billing and coding resources in one place. We also have a 10% discount code just for listeners of this podcast. Enter the coupon code EYECODEMEDIA22 at checkout. We'd love to work with you. Check out eyecodeeducation.com. Hello, dedicated optometrists. Are you looking for a way to support your patient's vision and overall eye health? Let me introduce you to Vision Edge Pro, a visual performance supplement that stands out in our profession. Vision Edge Pro contains a balanced blend of mesozeaxanthine, lutein, and zeaxanthine in a 10-10-2 ratio. This combination has been scientifically shown to increase macular pigment density, which enhances visual performance, including contrast sensitivity and vision in glare situations. Additionally, Vision Edge Pro provides 300 milligrams of DHA and EPA, fulfilling the daily requirements for omega-3s as recognized by the leading health organizations. This ensures your patients receive the essential nutrients their eyes need for optimal health. Whether it's for everyday screen use, night driving, or enjoying the outdoors, Vision Edge Pro supports your patients in seeing their best. Recommend Vision Edge Pro for your patients today and help them achieve clearer, healthier vision. Contact your local Macu Health representative for more details. Vision Edge Pro, because your patients deserve the best in eye health. Go to MacuHealth.com and use the coupon code podcast2024 at checkout for special discounts. So why we needed to change, why this all came about? Well, when Vision Source launched the Gateway Tour, it came out of a real desire, especially from Amir Kushnevis, who is he's the president of Vision Source, as well as, Mike Rothschild, who's kind of leading the Vision Source Gateway Tour. It was to help practices see what's possible with artificial intelligence. Amir framed the movement around patient-centric care, service excellence, empowered teams, personalized interactions, and community engagement. And those are the pillars. Those are Amir's pillars. We kind of called them Amir's spheres, lovingly, among the group that was developing the protocol or the tour. But very quickly we realized something, and it's that AI isn't the thing teams are struggling with the most. It's their people. Maybe, AI over time is going to continue, and I believe it will. It'll continue to evolve, but the people are what really matter, and the people are what doctors and practices really care about right now. It's the engagement, it's communication, it's understanding one another, and it's staying connected to the purpose of why we exist as independent optometric practices in the first place. So the talk evolved, and it had to evolve, because if we're going to bring teams to these events, not just the doctors, we needed to give them something that they could use immediately, something tangible, something they could take home Monday morning and feel the difference and make a difference. And the reality is that no matter what the AI tool that exists right now, you still have to have people to interact with people and people to implement what you develop with that tool. And that became the mission and purpose work that we worked on. And so why mission matters more than ever. I wanted to dive into why mission does matter more than ever. And I really wanted attendees to walk away with a big shift. If you don't have a clear mission that you're reminding yourself of consistently and constantly, you'll get pulled in 1,000 different directions that may not serve your patients or you at all. I say this, and I don't say it lightly. I think primary care or comprehensive optometric practice is probably the most challenging. It's certainly in eye care. It's the most challenging specialty, and I'll call it a specialty in eye care. It's way more challenging to be a glaucoma surgeon. I'm not a glaucoma surgeon, but my guess is they don't have to juggle routine and medical, and they don't have to juggle patients that don't want their, want something to be paid for by this insurance when it should be paid for by that insurance. And they, so the point is that all of those things, and oh, by the way, when somebody gets sent to a glaucoma surgeon, right, they're likely already have most of the time a very accurate, very solid diagnosis, and that surgeon just has to do the surgery. So, but we have to, manage the patients who have glaucoma, and oh, by the way, they also have dry eye, and oh, by the way, they also have macular degeneration and have convergence insufficiency, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's hard. That's really hard. And, when we think about managed care and medical billing and new technologies and new product categories and pharmaceutical reps, corporate pressures and payer pressures, and everyone wants a little piece of our day. And if we're not anchored in our mission, we will chase shiny objects all day long. We'll say yes to things that don't serve us. We'll get distracted by things that don't move the needle. We'll lose focus on our patients and what they actually need from us. And I know that firsthand. I mean, I'll tell you, I say this story across the Gateway Tour in some sense is, I get a knock on the door, Monday morning. I'm going through charts. And as I'm getting ready to see patients, a rep walks into the office. And this time it's the, I won't even say the name, but you'll probably know who it is. It's the dust mite rep. And they begin telling me, Dr. Wolfe, every single patient you see today has Demodex blepharitis. Now, I co-founded a company called Peak Pro. I know the importance of managing Demodex. It's my world. It's what I do every day, all day long. But instead of having a strategic conversation with this rep about how this medication can help my patients, I'm distracted. I'm taken away from my primary focus and my primary mission, because in that moment, I'm not grounded in that mission. I'm in task mode. I'm in get ready for clinic mode. And then now I got to be in Demodex blepharitis mode, and I'm not centered. And because I wasn't centered, I couldn't be fully present with the rep, and I can't be fully present for my patients now because I'm focused and I'm off balance, and I'm thinking about something that, that bothered me with what the rep said rather than just trying to take care of my patients. And that's a drift in my mission. And it happens all the time. We think about checking a box when it pulls off our purpose. I had a colleague who I respect a ton, and I'm probably going to talk more about this on another episode, but they emailed me really kind of grappling, it was probably the best term within the email, that they had to meet blood pressure, or they had been taking blood pressure measurements on every patient over the age of 18 for comprehensive exams. And, part of it was, it was a vestige from many, many years ago that there was this big push to do it within the profession. And then there's MIPS, but the reality is that they weren't even going to really qualify for MIPS because of low volume thresholds. And so the question wasn't really the issue. It's like, not if do you want to do it or don't do it. That's great. If you think it's really valuable to your patient population, then you should do it. If you think there's a lot of patients in your population that are running around with undiagnosed high blood pressure, and you can be an intervention that can help that, then absolutely do it. That's not the point. That's not the question that was really reeling with them. The reality was that I wanted him to dive deep into is, CooperVision and the AOA have joined forces in a groundbreaking initiative to transform how optometrists treat children with myopia. The Myopia Collective aims to unite our profession and its allies to challenge the status quo and elevate the standard of care for children with myopia. Everyone is invited to become a member of the collective. By joining, you pledge to act in slowing childhood myopia progression. Membership includes regular updates and information about the collective's efforts, access to educational opportunities and resources, and insights from the ambassador optometrists who advocate for community policy and changes supporting the collective's mission. Click the link in the show notes to join the collective today. If you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and start running a safer, more profitable practice, here's the next step. First, book a strategy call with us, Practice Performance Partners. We'll uncover the biggest risks and opportunities in your practice. Then, choose the package that fits your goals. From there, we'll get you launched with confidence, with clear systems, with expert support, and with peace of mind, knowing your practice is protected and set up to grow. Don't wait until something goes wrong. Book your strategy call with us, Practice Performance Partners, today. What are you spending time doing that you didn't believe was clinically essential because you felt pressure to check a box? And again, I'm not saying that measuring blood pressure isn't important. But when it becomes a box that you're checking as opposed to one you really care about, and it subtracts from the care that only you can deliver. Things like binocular vision. Am I missing tests that I could be doing for binocular vision because I'm worried about a blood pressure? Am I missing a component of looking for ocular surface disease during a comprehensive exam because I'm trying to check a box for blood pressure? Am I going a little faster on my optic nerve evaluation because I'm trying to check the box for blood pressure? That's a drift in our mission, right? There's nobody better to manage the patient who has all of those ocular conditions than we are. And I certainly say that, the internal medicine physician who is much better at managing high blood pressure than we are and detecting it is probably not staining a patient's cornea looking for their dry eye. They're just probably not. They're probably not even checking their intraocular pressure because glaucoma is a significant risk factor for vision loss as time goes on. And so the reality is I know they're not the same. I know it's different. What I'm saying is we can get lost. We can get lost in things. It's doing things that don't align with the core purpose of why we exist, especially if those things detract from our core purpose. And when we drift, we lose that clarity. And when we lose the clarity, we lose impact with our patients. And so the tool we built with the Gateway Tour was to help practices anchor themselves. We built a GPT tool that guides them through developing a mission statement, creating a mantra, that short, sweet thing that you put above the entryway to the field of play, and all the players slap it when they walk out onto the field because they know that's their mantra. They're going to think about that all the time because that's why they exist in that field of play. Identifying core values. And the magic was not the technology. It wasn't the GPT, although that was, I think it was pretty cool for most people who have never really engaged in it to see what it can do and how it would interact with them. But the magic was the stories that the team shared with each other. the stories of impact, the stories of patients whose lives were changed, the stories of the times when things didn't go well and why they didn't go well. And so those stories, in my mind, revealed something deep and consistent. It's that most practices already know their mission. They've just never articulated it in a way that they can live out every day, or they haven't thought about it for a long time. Maybe they created it years ago, but they haven't really sat down and said, does this really reflect what my mission is? And that's what the tool unlocked. And so really during this tour, there's always moments where I share my own mission statements, the ones that I use for different roles in my life. You know, I tell the offices, you know, my primary purpose obviously is to serve the Lord and Savior. And you know, I think I probably, I may make some people feel uncomfortable. Most people, you know, pretty much agree. And then I have a mission to take care of my family. Most everybody agrees with that. And because this enables me to serve my primary purpose. And then I have a mission to take care of my patients, and I have a mission to take care of my community. And then I have a separate mission when I help teach doctors and do these sorts of workshops, and I do the things like this podcast, is to remove barriers so that those doctors can best care for their patients in the way that they believe is in the best interest of those patients. And every time I share this, the room gets quiet, and they really think, and they really reflect on what I'm saying, not because my mission is so important, but they start to think, oh, could I actually clarify my mission? You know, do I have a clear mission? Could I actually stand in front of people and state my mission? And then I lighten the mood, obviously, by joking about submissions like, you know, singing karaoke or watching the Buffalo Bills or flying airplanes, you know. And people laugh because we all have those kind of little things that we love to do that really aren't part of the real core big mission. But they kind of add to who we are. And it reminds people that you can live and you can have multiple missions. But you can have multiple primary. You can't really have multiple primary missions because they'll unless they really overlap and speak to the greater mission. So misplacing that hierarchy is where practices get lost. And so that's probably the most fun, and in my mind probably the most helpful thing that we've done is how do we actually manage that misplaced hierarchy, and really how can we actually avoid it? And so the most consistent feedback wasn't, wow, the AI was so amazing, or AI is, there's these really great tools that are here right now for AI, and I need to integrate them into the practice. The feedback was our team finally talked about why we do what we do. Our team shared stories around the table that we never would have shared. This helped us see each other differently, see each other role in the practice differently. It reminded us that we're not just checking boxes, we're changing lives. And that's what hit me with the Gateway Tour. It's AI isn't the star of the Gateway Tour. The clarity is, the connection is, the mission is. And one of my favorite moments on the tour is when, you know, a practice, and it does happen in many cases, but when practices share their mission statement out loud, and I'll always ask things like, well, was what you created, does it describe your practice? Does it describe your mission perfectly? And I love when they say, yes, it's us. It's totally us. It's exactly who we are. And then sometimes they'll say, you know, no, it's okay, but it's not perfect. And then I say, great, make it perfect. Make your AI ask you better questions and give it better details so that it can be perfect. And that's where AI comes in. And that's when we know the work that we've been doing matters. Because they're not just saying it for me, they're saying it for themselves. And it changes the way that they walk back into their clinic. And so when I think about how this has changed my role, it's made me realize that whether in Vision Source or Practice Performance Partners or in Peak, it's really to make sure that I'm the guide for my patients, I'm the guide for the doctors that I'm serving, and it's not to be the hero. It's not to be the answer giver, although a lot of people will still reach out to me for an answer. I do like to give answers. I have opinions. I have very strong opinions, clearly. But it's to be the guide. And my job is to help people uncover things like why they think the way they think, why they behave the way they behave, why they compromise on things that they really do think it matters and are kind of the core reasons why they went into optometry school in the first place. It's to uncover why they drift and how to get back their mission. Because here's the thing. Most independent optometrists are not alone. They just feel alone. And, if I can help connect those dots across the country, that's meaningful work. That's my mission. It's my meaningful work. And I hope that over time, if this mission talk leaves one lasting imprint on Vision Source practices or anybody that's not in Vision Source listening to this podcast, I want it to be this. Technology shifts. We've seen it. Go back all the way to Optos, which was around before I was in practice. OCT, which was just starting to come, we just started in in retinal issues, we were using OCT. We're still using GDX when I was in school for optic nerve evaluation. And then OCT, obviously, of the macula and then the optic nerve is sort of taken over all the way. We were doing fluorescein angiographies when I was in school in Oklahoma. And so these things shift and they change. But real mission, is what holds a practice together. AI isn't going to redefine optometry in some sudden dramatic way. I mean, certainly it's going to change. External threats, online retailers, new delivery modes, they're still bigger disruptors right now than AI technology. But what will help protect independent practice and what will help protect optometry in general is clarity of mission, the strength of the team, the community connection. That's huge. And patient-centered care that no product can replace, but it can also augment. And that's where our future is. And so that's where the Gateway Tour, I'll call it 2.0, is heading in 2026. And it's where we're moving from a practice performance partner standpoint in 2026 and beyond, is to look into the future. We don't know exactly in the future what the next evolution will be, and that's okay. What we do know is that we're committed to redefining this message, deepening it, and creating more tools to help practices in that process do things like connect with their teams, strengthen their culture, build foundations that last, remove barriers so that you're not uncertain about, are you in compliance? Have you coded this appropriately? Have you documented this appropriately? Have you ordered too many fields? Have you, classified medical necessity? Have you actually built a protocol around managing a specific disease state so that they can live out their mission with clarity every single day? Because mission work isn't a one-time exercise. It's disciplined. It's revamping and it's reevaluating what you're doing, and it shapes how we care for our patients, which is ultimately why we're here. So I guess if you take nothing else from this episode, I want you to take this. What sets us apart from AI, products, or processes, it's people with a clear mission lived out every day through and with our patients. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for joining me. If this episode resonated with you, share it with your team, talk about your mission, revisit your mission, refine it, live it, and because that's really what where the transformation begins in our practice. So until next time, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me. I'm Chris Wolfe on iCode Media. Have a great week. I'll see you soon.